Hey guys, it's Andrew here, and September and October are going to be the months of Halloween tutorials. So last year I did a couple of tutorials, and I thought that this year, since they seem to be so popular, I would do them again. So I'm going to start out with simple things, and then I'm going to move on to full looks. So the first thing that we're going to do is sorry about that, I accidentally pressed the stop recording button on my webcam because I am very coordinated. Anyways, the first thing that we're going to do is a generic kind of burn mark. As you can see, I've done one here, and this is done very simply with things that you probably already have, and if you do not have the things required, or the things that I used at least, not necessarily required, then you will only have to spend about $3 to make multitudes and multitudes and multitudes of these burn marks. So I'm going to start off showing you what I used. The first thing you're going to need is some Elmer school glue. You could also use eyelash adhesive, anything that will dry clear. Next, you are going to need a black eyeliner pencil or a matte black eyeshadow with a small eyeliner brush so that you can make precise lines, and we're going to be using this for shading. The next thing you are going to need is either fake blood or one of my favorite fake blood substitutes, red lipstick. Now, if you don't have a red lipstick, you can easily get one from basically a drugstore. You can find them anywhere from $1 to $3. I wouldn't spend very much. The $1 one will do just fine. I know Wet n Wild has a $1 one. I'm sure NYC has a $1 one. Elf probably has a $1 one if you can find the lipsticks. I don't know if they sell them in store, but I know they sell them online. You will also need, if you're using a lipstick or fake blood, I would recommend a brush. I'm just using an angled brush. If you're using fake blood, I would use something that you can get rid of because it will probably ruin the brush. You are also going to need something that you can lift the glue up with to make the opening of the wound. I couldn't find anything the things that I wanted to use, I misplaced them. I would recommend using tweezers or even a needle if you can be careful and not prick yourself. But I'm going to use just the tip of a mechanical pencil, and as you can see, I put the lead out kind of far. That way I can get under there. Now, I did find a pro of using a mechanical pencil is that the lead will darken the glue, which kind of makes it look more like a burn mark or a cut that has been really dirtied and it looks really gross, so that's pretty cool. Alright, so now that we have those things, we can get going. Alright, so as you can see, I've already created this burn mark here. I'm just going to make one further down on my hand. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my eyeliner pencil, and as you can see here, I am just going to start drawing the general shape with little dots that I want my cut to be. So that looks about good. And then what I am going to do is I'm going to take my finger and I am going to start blending that out a little bit. Because we don't want a very harsh black line, we just want it to have a general idea where our cut's going to be. So there's a start. Now, once we have that, I am once again just going to go back in with the pencil, and we are going to do that over and over until we have the desired look. And I will be right back to show you the next step. Alright, after you have your outline, as you can see, you can still kind of make out where the inside of the cut is going to be, and I have blended it out to kind of give it a bruised look. I am going to take my glue, and I am going to place a dot of the glue, a really generous dot, about that big, right in the middle, and quickly just take the same finger I blended the pencil with and blend that out. Now you want the middle part to be fairly thick, but around the edges you just kind of want to take your finger and thin it out pretty far just so that it blends in with your skin perfectly. Whoops, I'm pulling up some of the other one. I put this one pretty close. Now if you do pull up parts that you don't want to pull up, you can very easily remedy this by taking either your angled brush, which I'm going to use, or the back of a brush, or even the tweezers, and you can just take that and press the glue back into your skin, and it will stick right back down. That's why you want to use something that stays fairly tacky even when it's dry. So that's another reason why eyelash glue would be good. So I'm going to wait about 30 to 45 seconds for this to dry a little bit. I still want it a little bit tacky so I can peel it up, and I will be right back. Alright, it's been about 45 seconds, and I've been shaking my hand around like an idiot and blowing on it to help it dry faster. And now that it's just slightly tacky, when you touch it, it won't feel very tacky, but it'll be a little bit tacky. I'm just going to take the tip of my pencil, okay, you can see, and I'm just going to start in the middle, and you might have to press down a little bit forcefully to get it to penetrate the glue, but once it does, you'll be able to drag it out, and as you can see, it's starting to make an indentation. And I'm just going to keep doing that until I have my cut, or wound, or burn, or just my wound. We'll go with wound because that covers both cuts and burns, to where I want it to be. So that's a pretty good size right there, as you can kind of see it. Or I'll turn it that way, yeah, you can see it better there. And now another thing you can do is you can kind of make the edges a bit imperfect too. You don't want to go too far out because you want it to be blended into your skin pretty well. And you might be able to tell that the tip of the pencil, the graphite, or the lead, or whatever you want to call it, it's graphite though, but you can see how it darkened the edges of the burn, and I think that overall helps the effect. So the next thing we are going to do is we are going to go back to our pencil. This is just an e.l.f. eyeliner pencil. It's only $1, so that's pretty cheap. You could use black eyeshadow if you want, but make sure it's black. You don't want any shimmer. And we are just going to fill this in like this. It doesn't have to be perfect. We are going to blend it out later. We're not going to use our finger to blend this. So I just kind of have that. It's not really under the raised glue or anything. But now we are going to go, oops, I got something stuck to my brush. Just a second. Sorry about that. I happened to get glue on my brush somehow. Alright. Now we're going to go take our angled brush, and we are going to take the red lipstick. And I'm just going... Now, you want to make sure your brush is clean. I'm just going to wipe it off my shirt. I have a black shirt, it's fine. You want to make sure your brush is clean, especially if it's lipstick that you're going to use. If it's lipstick you're just going to use for this and then throw away, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to just swipe it across the lipstick a few times. And now that we have the product on the tip of the brush, just go into that cut, or burn, or wound, and use that to press the color in and swipe it around a little bit, and you can even use it. You can use your angled brush to get under the glue. You can see what I'm doing here. And we are just going to do that a couple of times. If it's a lipstick you're going to use, like I said, just wipe off your brush every time you need more product. I'm going to get a little bit more product on my brush. And I am going to just add more. Now, as you continually add more, I would concentrate it mostly in the middle, I think, is where you should concentrate it. But also make sure you get a little bit under the raised wound as well. So, let's see, I'm just going to add one more little bit right in the middle to make it really red. And after I have done that, I'm going to take the side of my brush and just kind of flatten the glue around the cut. And that will give it a really disgusting raised look, because it's not going to flatten it completely. And this will make a nice little burn. Now, if you want to make a cut, I would keep it very dark around the edges, and then have your fake blood or red lipstick coming out more. But for the purpose of this burn, I'm going to keep it mostly red in the middle and very black around the raised areas. And as you can see, we now have our very own burn. Now, you can mess with it as much as you want. You can pull up more pieces. You can add more black for shadows. But when you get to this point, you are basically done. Now, they look very nice in the light, but in the dark, they look a lot better. So, that is a very simple way that you can make a fake cut or burn, and I will be back with another Halloween tutorial very soon. I'll talk to you guys. Well, I'm sorry about that. That one slipped out. That one slipped out. I will talk to you guys and girls and anyone else who be watching. If I have a cat or a dog, I will talk to you guys later.